Hey guys, it's your girl Carrie. Welcome back to my channel. We got a fun little collab happening here. I'm going to be creating some really cool iridescent chrome French tip nails, and this is in collaboration with Nicole's Beauty Scene, who is another DIY dip and gel over here on YouTube. So we took this inspo photo and decided to put our own little twist on it. So if you want to see how I recreated this mani and turn it into my own, then stick around. We're getting into it. Alright guys, so I've gathered all my nail goodies here that I'm going to use to recreate this iridescent chrome French tip mani. But like I said, this is in collaboration with Nicole's Beauty Scene, so if you're not already following her here on YouTube, I will have it linked for you down below, as well as her Instagram channel. She's definitely somebody that I connected with on Instagram first, but she also started her own YouTube channel, so make sure you check her out if you're not already following her. And for those of you who may have come over here from her channel, hey, I'm Carrie. I'm another person who loves DIY dip and gel nails, and we do videos twice a week on Tuesdays and Fridays. So if you love those kinds of nail products as much as we do, then I hope you'll hit that subscribe button and stick around. Alright, so these are the products that I have picked out that I want to use for my mani, but obviously you could use several other options, which I will go over you with as we actually get into the mani. Before we get going, if you're curious about the mani on my right hand, that is from Vivid Glam Co. That is their newest duo that I have on my hands. I did post that on Instagram last week. I did not do a YouTube video on it specifically, but it is the mani that I used in the video where I show you how I recreate my reels. So if you have not seen that video already, I will have it linked for you in the cards, but that's what's going on that end. Now, as far as what you're going to need to recreate this mani, you don't have to have these specific products. I'm going to go over some other options for you as we get into the mani, but these are the ones that I'm going to be using. These are just some that I picked out of my collection that I thought would be really good to use for this one. The only one I have not used is this Chrome Effect Gel from Daily Charme, which I will demonstrate for you today. And like I said, I will give you my thoughts on that one as well as some alternatives if you don't have that. So on the left here, I'm going to be starting with my Nails Cat Cat rubber base coat, which is what I'm going to be using for the base of the French. Now, if you did not see my first impressions video on Nails Cat Cat, I can also link that one for you. I really enjoyed that video and I'm really enjoying the brand so far. So I knew I wanted to use the rubber base for a French base, and she has a lot of really great options if you are looking for a good French base. I highly recommend these. Next to that, I have my Daily Charm Gel in Perfect Black. This is a newer black to my collection. It's pretty pricey, I'm not going to lie to you, but it is a really good, thick, and pigmented black, and I knew I wanted something that was going to create a really nice French without multiple layers, so that this would cover it in one layer, and that's why I chose it. And then, like I said, next to that, the Chrome Effect Gel we'll be trying out today. And then on the far right are some chromes from Amazon, iridescent chromes that come in a set. So I will have those linked for you as well if you're interested in trying those out. And those are coincidentally what I used in my glazed donut nails mani video. So if you haven't seen that one, I can link that one for you too. So this is not your only method for recreating this mani. In fact, there are several other options, and I'm going to get into those as I start creating the mani, which we're going to get into right now. Alright, so I'm starting off here with the Nails Cat Cat rubber base coat in Bare Minimum, and this is one of the colors that suits me the best out of the ones I picked up from her so far. I would say this one and Ballet, and the reason I chose this one other than Ballet is because this one's a little bit more of a neutral beige, which I knew because I was going to be putting iridescent chrome over the top. I really didn't want any competing colors, anything too bright in the base layer to kind of compete with that, so that's why I chose that. So some things to think about with this is that the reason I'm putting this down is because I need a little bit of that kind of French color on there. I want some sheer wash of color to be the base on there. Now, if you have, you're just using your natural nails, you don't have to do this. You could definitely skip that and just put the French where your the white part of your nail, your free edge. Let's get specific here. The free edge is, you can definitely just cover up that portion with the black gel paint and that'll be your French. But if you're using clear plastic tips, or you want just a little bit more color to just bring a little bit more life to your nails, then you can definitely use this rubber base. This is a gel base coat, but it's a little bit thicker. So I typically will do a thin layer on the bottom and then do a slightly thicker layer over top to provide a little bit more structure, shape, and a little bit more color. But alternative would be, if you wanted to use like a sheer skin tone dip powder, I highly recommend Ritzy Dip's Quartz for that. or you could also use just a sheer nude gel polish. I've got a couple of jelly gels in my Amazon storefront if you just want some regular gel polish and not a rubber base coat. And then of course, you know, if you wanted to, you could actually do this with a sheer nail polish, but again, that's up to you whether you want that sheer wash of color there for your French base, but I definitely wanted it since I'm working with clear gel tips. Now, I'm not really going to go too into depth into this process, mostly because I already explained this pretty in depth in that Nails Cat first impressions and review video. And as somebody who's only worked with rubber base coat a couple of times, in fact, I think this was my second or third, you know, I don't have a lot of experience with it. So I went based off what Nails Cat demonstrated on her Instagram tutorial. But in any case, you know, if you want more of an detailed explanation of what I'm doing, because you can see I'm kind of building it up a little bit more on the second layer, then definitely go check out that video because I definitely went more into depth into that video. By the way, of course, I am curing between layers just as with any other gel product. You're just not seeing my lamp on camera because I don't have one that's small enough to actually fit on screen. I need to work on that. But in any case, the thin layer, cure, and then this thicker layer, cure, and then that's really it. So obviously if you're using gel polish instead of a rubber base, you won't build up the second layer. It'll just be 2 thin coats, or 3 if you like. All right, so here's what it's looking like after those 2 coats of the rubber base gel. And I did want to say that if you need to do any filing on your dip or gel, whatever you used, like a little shape cleanup around the edge, then do that now. You definitely don't want to start with your French tips until you actually clean up your shape, because you're not going to be able to do that after you apply the French tips, or you're going to ruin the whole effect. So what I'm doing is actually putting some of this gel polish down here on a silicone mat, and I will have everything for you down below, guys, if you're interested in this. But reason I'm doing that is because I'm not going to use this brush to actually paint on the French tips. I find it a lot easier to use a more detailed brush to do the painting. You can, if you're really comfortable working with a polish brush, then go for it, but I'm definitely not. So I'm actually using a mid-length brush here from Painted Desert, so I will have this particular brush linked for you if you're interested in it. But I find this just to be really good to make a nice clean French shape, and I'm going for something that's a little bit more of a delicate shape. I'm not going for a traditional French look here. So at first, all I'm really trying to do is kind of sketch the outline of the shape that I want. And the reason why I'm making this such a deep French is because I just really prefer the way that that looks on these medium coffin nails. Now, if you had shorter nails, you might want more of a classic French. And, you know, depending on the length of the nails, you might want something even sharper. That's really up to you. I just really like the look of this more modern looking French. So that's why I'm keeping that smile line really tight to the top, because it's really easy to kind of make it a little bit deeper as I go, instead of making it too deep and then having to clean it up with alcohol to make it back to where I wanted it to be. Now, there's a couple of ways to create your French lines. You definitely don't have to use gel paint if that's something that you're not comfortable with. You actually could do this as a color block with dip powder. So if you wanted to do like your dip powder with your nude base and then your black tips, you could definitely do it as a color block, and you could use those nail stickers to kind of help you do your color block. And I have tons of color block videos on my channel if that's what you're interested in, but that's not what I chose to do this time, but it is an option for you. I love that black French, so pretty. I could have just left it just like that. But anyway, the other option you could do is put down your nude dip powder and then just paint with black gel over top. So if you didn't want to use gel or like a rubber base gel or a sheer jelly nude, you could definitely just do your 2 layers of nude dip powder, shape and buff, and then you can go in with the black gel over top. So that's another option for you. Another really quick and easy option is to use a stamping plate, and Maniology has a really great French stamping plate, which I can show you a photo of if you haven't seen it. But that's really handy if you want to do more of a classic French. Now, there aren't very many options as far as creating different kinds of French. You're pretty much going to get a classic French look. But if you have shorter nails or you have natural nails, I think you're really going to have a lot of luck with that one. And man, is that quick and easy, because you just put down your black stamping polish on the plate, pick it up with your stamp it on there, and boom, you're done. If you're not wanting to use gels at all, you could actually do this with nail polish, or you could do this with acrylic paint. The only issue I see there is that you're really going to have your best chroming effects with gel. So I feel like even if you skip it for this section, you're probably going to have to use it eventually. Now, there are some options for non-gel chroming, but in my opinion, they don't ever quite give the same effect. But they're good. They're good. There's definitely, OPI has a really good chroming nail polish top coat that you can use, and I can link that one for you as well. And that's actually what I believe Hailey Bieber's nail artist used for her donut nails. So There's some options there if you want to avoid gel altogether. I just find gel to be the easiest and the most seamless. As far as gel polishes go, you can use any black gel polish will work. The reason why I love this one is because it is super opaque in one coat. And like I said, I didn't want to have to do multiple layers to get a fully covered French here. Now, I have to tell you, Daily Charms nail polishes are expensive, guys. I mean, friggin' expensive. Like, it hurts expensive. They're $18 a bottle. And if you're lucky, you might be able to find a 10% off coupon. Here's the thing, I really want to hate them, guys. I really want to hate them because they're $18, but I kind of love them. So, I'm gonna have to try more of them first before I can make a final determination as to whether or not they're worth that exorbitant price point. But I gotta tell you, this black for sure is definitely worth it. It's just divine and full coverage in one coat, and it's such a beautiful consistency. Oh, you guys, I'm in love. I could leave it just like this and be perfectly happy. I just think that is such a beautiful look. But we're going to take it up a notch here with some really pretty iridescent chrome. So you're going to have a couple options here as well, which I'll get into as we go along. But for now, I'm going to set up what I'm using. So I've got my chrome, I've got a fan brush for dusting, and then to apply the chrome, I'm going to be using Daily Charms Chrome Effect Gel. I've never tried this before. We're going to try this together for the first time today. But this is supposed to be specifically formulated for chrome application, so I'll give you my thoughts as we go along. So I'm just going to apply a thin layer of this, and this is what I'm going to chrome on. Most folks, and actually myself up until this point, will typically use a no wipe top coat, and what you'll do with that is flash cure it. So you'll put a thin layer on there, you cure it for like 8 to 10 seconds, maybe 15 depending on your lamp wattage, and you'll chrome into that. Now this is going to replace that, so instead of using a no wipe top coat, I'm using this, and this, the directions state you're supposed to cure it for the full 60 seconds. But I wanted to use this because I wanted to see, because I'm pretty happy with using a flash cured gel top coat for chrome, so I wanted to see if this was really that much different. Now we did already have a sticky base from our gels that we already applied, so you might be asking, can't you just chrome into that? And the answer is yes, you can. There's only one thing about that. I find that when you chrome into gel base or a gel color, it comes out just a little bit more gritty than if you use a flash cured top coat. So I recommend chroming into a top coat that's been flash cured. It's just going to give it a bit more smoother, like mirror-like shine, whereas it's going to look just a little bit more grainy if you use a base coat or a color gel. So just my suggestion, but either will work. So whether you're using this or a flash cured no wipe gel top coat, you're going to go ahead now and rub your chrome in. So you can either use an eyeshadow brush, you can use a silicone tool, you can use your finger, you have plenty of options here, but the important thing here is to buff. You really want to kind of take your time on this part and just really keep scrubbing it in, because the more you scrub, the more you kind of buff it in, the more it gets that mirror-like finish, and it kind of works out any kind of imperfections here. So you can see, I'm not really rushing. I'm taking my time to make sure I get it really buffed in really well, including on the sides and the free edge. Now, obviously I picked this iridescent teal because that went along with the inspo photo, but you could do this with any iridescent teal color. It'll make just a slightly different effect depending on what iridescence you use. So while I finish buffing in my chrome, let me give you a few thoughts here on this Chrome Effect Gel. On first impression, it works. It definitely does. I think it looks nice. I just don't know that it's really that much better than just using a flash cured top coat. So do I think you need this if you want to do chroming? No, absolutely not. Do I like it? Yeah, I like it. Will I use it again? Yeah, I'll use it again. But I don't think it's that much different than using the flash cured gel top coat, so I'm not really sure if I hadn't already bought this if I would think it was worth it. So I would say that the gel polishes so far, definitely, but I think you can skip on this Chrome Effect Gel, especially because I believe it's $25, so yikes. No, just stick with your flash cured gel top coat. So once the chrome's been applied, you definitely want to dust off any excess. So I'm using this fan brush because it's a little bit lighter and fluffier, but really you could get away with pretty much any brush. And this one is inexpensive, by the way. It's just from a cheapy nail art brush set from Amazon, but something light and fluffy to kind of dust everything off so that you're not really putting too much pressure on the nail. All right, all done, nice and shiny. I think it looks beautiful. So now we need to seal this chrome in really well. So what I'm doing now is I'm actually going in with a layer of gel base. Now, do you need this? No, you don't. You can go right in with your top coat to seal and just be done with it. But there's a reason why I'm doing this. First of all, you really want to cover anything that's covered in chrome really, really well. Because if you don't, when you go wash your hands or get in the shower, all that chrome on the sides and the free edge that you didn't cap, it's going to be on. It's going to wash off right away. So you really want to seal it in well. So if you can do that with a really nicely perfected top coat, then one layer should be fine. You don't need to do this. I'm just somebody who really wants to protect that chrome really well, and I don't trust myself to not miss a spot. So I like to put a layer of gel base and a layer of gel top, and that way I'm fully covered with the 2 layers. But like I said, that's totally optional. Now, the other thing to mention too is that when you put gel over top of chrome, even if you've really dusted it off really well, it's pretty inevitable you're going to pick up a little bit of that chrome onto your gel brush, and believe me, it's impossible to get out. So I actually do have a gel base coat that I set aside just for chroming and glitters anytime basically where I'm putting it over something that's unencapsulated, so that if I happen to pick up a little bit of the chrome or a little piece of glitter, it's already contaminated, so it's not really going to hurt anything. I definitely wouldn't want to use my regular gel base for that I use over my solids, because then that might risk smearing some glitter or some chrome over my solids, and you know, the type A in me just can't handle that. So I cured the base coat, and now I'm going in with the top coat here. And again, I'm being very careful to make sure that I am covering the sidewalls and the free edge, so that any of that chrome on there, and on the unfortunate event that I missed it with my base coat, I've now got it covered with the top coat. And I gotta tell you, I wore that mani for a week, and I did not have any chipping at all of my chrome. None of my chrome came off. Everything looked beautiful just as well on the 7th day as it did on the 1st. So I was pretty happy with that. All right, so here's my finished iridescent chrome French mani. I think it looks so cool. I definitely would love to try this with some other colors. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and finish up here with my cuticle oil. So I'm using Scales of Mermaid Spicy Reeds, which is one of their newer releases. I absolutely love this one. I'm not sure if it's been restocked or not yet. I will have to check for you. But like I said, this is mainline. So at some point, even if it's not there right now, it'll be restocked soon. And as always, you can use code CARRY10 for 10% off your Scales purchases. All right, we're all finished up, and I absolutely love the way this one turned out. And I gotta tell you, I had a difficult time photographing this, so I'm not sure the beauty of it really comes across in the picture, mostly just because of the reflection in the chrome. But in person, it was just such a fun mani and mesmerizing mani to wear for the week. I really enjoyed this look. So make sure you head over to Nicole's channel so you can check out how she did her mani. I know hers looks a little bit different, and I would say hers is more of like a royal blue shift, so that's kind of a fun twist. So like I said, I think you could do this mani in a bunch of different iridescent colors. I think it would make a really fun look. I think this would look amazing with a pink or purple shift as well. Pretty cool technique, I think, and super quick and easy to accomplish. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful. If you did, it would help me out so much if you would give me a thumbs up down below. And while you're there, if you have not subscribed already, I hope you'll consider subscribing before you go. And don't forget that notification bell. We got new content coming every Tuesday and Friday at 2 p.m. Central. So as always, guys, thank you so much for taking time in your day to spend it with me. I appreciate it so much. You guys know I love you to pieces, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.